I am lucky enough to be here with Matt Marino, who in his very first World Armlifting Championships this fall got fourth place and just barely missed the bronze medal by 5 out of 300 points. So, Matt, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I got to tell you, you're a quiet dude, but I was impressed. And I don't say this very often with your lifting form.
Mm.
I told you that on the platform when I was announcing. Your lifts are flawless. And they could be a model for any new lifter to watch. If they watch video of you, they'd get an idea of what to do for sure. So why don't you tell us about your background that led you to these flawless lifts?
So I mean, in general, like my strength background, I kind of got off stuff started off this early, like in life. I was in the army for when I was, right after college. I was an officer for 5 years from 2002 to 2007. After I got out, I got into a lot of different strength sports. I rock climbed for a while. I power lifted. I probably the biggest thing was I did about a decade of competitive strongman. Made it up to masters nationals. Um, Although strongman kind of beats you up a little bit, so after I did nationals a couple of years ago, I was kind of looking for something new, some kind of a different outlet, and I just stumbled upon arm lifting. It was just there was an option to compete at a friend of mine's gym. I didn't really know much about it, so I went. I did a couple of things for the first time with very, very little training. And after that, I was kind of hooked. It was a lot of fun. The competitions were great. The great community. Everyone's just kind of similar to strongman. Everyone's just kind of cheering each other on. Everyone's giving each other advice, and so there's a lot of good high level strongman athletes and other folks around here, and several of them like kind of do some grip stuff on the side. So talk to them, got some advice, and then I don't know. I just kind of tried to digest as much content as I could to try to figure out what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. I kind of like to practice with subpar equipment. It kind of forces you to do things correctly. So that's kind of where it all came from.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for your service. I appreciate anyone who's in the military, fire, police. Without you, I couldn't do what I do.
Mm.
First of all, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Second of all, um, yeah, so you have a very, very varied background. That the dreaded rock climbing phrase came into play.
Hmm.
Anyone who's done rock climbing, just what it takes. You're just fantastic at the sport, coupled with, but you have real strength. I mean, powerlifting. What was your best powerlifting deadlift in a contest, Matt?
I think powerlifting was 575. I did 606 in strongman. That's as good as my deadlifts gotten.
Yeah, but that's at what weight class? 220?
220, yeah.
Yeah. So that's still a very, very respectable deadlift for a 220-pound guy for sure. So, you pick rock climbing with 600-pound
Mm.
deadlift strength, and you're going to excel at arm lifting, also with a very intellectual approach, as you just stated. So I think that's great. So how's your training been for the Arnold?
Training's been pretty good. I mean, I've been really trying to focus on the actual Arnold events, but also kind of vary it up here and there just to keep things interesting. So play around with a few other events. I I know that we had this joke before, like the events won't change for the Arnold, but I guess I'm just so used to strongman where they throw you a curveball every now and again that I just don't want to not practice other stuff. So I played around with a few other rogue implements, and I've got a good amount of stuff at home. So I've
Oh,
been
cool.
practicing and playing on. I started getting into blobs and some other things. I've got a friend that kind of collects them, so it's nice to get some different things and not to get completely fried out on one or two lifts. But I really do like the Arnold lifts. I mean, I love that. I love axle deadlift. I've been doing that for a long time. The grandfather clock's probably one of my favorite lifts.
So armed prep's going well. Um, Can you talk about what it was like to lift against Eric? I mean, he's the most decorated arm lifter in history. I think he's got 11 world championships now, et cetera. Plus, he's an amazing person, one of my
Mhm.
best friends. What was it like to lift against him in Orlando?
It was really great, and it was kind of an educational experience. Like, I hadn't met any of these guys at the Olympia before, with the exception of a couple of people I went who like I've known from like the local area. It was all new people, and so I was kind of trying to pick their brains as much as possible. Eric
Mm.
was incredibly approachable. Like, I asked him a couple of things, like, because he does things a little bit differently than everyone else. And I'm like, okay, so this guy has won like a million times in a row and he's doing something different. So I want to know why that's happening. So, like, the way he warms up, the way he takes his attempts, kind of like how he sets himself up, it's very methodical. And you can tell he's really thinking it through. So, I mean, once I saw him kind of lift, I was like, okay, so we know what's going to happen here. Like, we know that we're all kind of trying to see how we do against Eric, not necessarily beat him. But it was a great experience because you get to see somebody that is not only excelled at the sport, but like he brings like a whole cadre with him. Like, there's all of these people that he's just lifting up and getting better and learning from him. So it was really nice to see that and see that community that he brings as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We've traveled together to Russia. I met him in Canada this year in a different part that he's from. We've competed together all over the world. We'll be rooming together at the Arnold. We're good
Mhm.
friends. And you hit the nail on the head. You can't find someone better to pick their brains, someone who's seen it and done it all. Yeah, quite a technician. And obviously, look at his great physique, ripped.
Yeah.
The dude brings it no matter how you slice it.
Hmm.
Yeah. But that being said, you certainly were very impressive yourself, and let's not shortchange you. What are your goals for the Arnold? Do you have any particular goals, or because there's going to be some new people, or just see how you stack up against the crowd?
I mean, I want to see how I stack up against the crowd. I haven't been focused really that much on like who I'm trying to beat or anything like that, because at this point it's just what can I get for numbers. So I've been trying to see, I want to get that. I really want to see if I can get that 400 on the axle, and I think I can do it on a good day. The the grandfather clock medley should be a good event for me. So I've been doing a lot of repetitions on that, and I kind of want to see if how far I can get up there. I should be able to get 10 plus reps on that at the end, and hopefully some more. Um, the Saxon is going to be an X factor for me. That's not my best event, but it's hopefully good enough that I can keep my place up there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to just seeing how I can perform on the day and just trying to not overthink it too much. I tend to do a lot better in competition than I do with doing training. I think it's because I'm exhausted most of the time that I'm training. So it's, on a competition day when I'm actually rested, things seem to fire off really great. So I try not to get too hung up on if I have like, a bad couple of training days or something like that, because usually it'll be there on the day.
Well, I think, first of all, just as a casual observer, if you do whatever you did in
Mm,
Orlando and Columbus, I think you'll be just fine. Second of all, that is very wise advice from someone who's done all the different sports. Sometimes we get too hung up in the day to day to step back and look at the big picture and realize where we were a year ago, we wish we would have lifted
mhm.
these weights, right? So sometimes it's easy to get hung up on the minutia and not look at the big picture. But I agree. I tend to also do my best in a competition of format. Um, and like for example, on the medley with the Raptor in Orlando, I had only done 5 reps in training, but then I did
Mhm.
9 in the contest. So
Yeah.
I think once I'm rested, I'm the same thing. I do a lot of different things as well in life, and you don't sometimes can underestimate how tired you
It,
are on the day to day.
it's I mean, it's not this. I'm guessing that the folks that are competing in their 20s might feel differently, but for me, making sure I actually like take that week or two of solid, like really recovery before it really makes a difference.
Yo, I couldn't agree more. And I'm the kind of guy who loves to train.
Mhm.
It's part of my heart and soul. I train like right after I wake up, after
Mm.
I do whatever little
Same.
tasks I have to do around the house, and because it just sets me up for success throughout the whole day. And I, yeah, sometimes it's a little maddening resting, but it pays you dividends on the day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Matt, it's my pleasure that you joined us today. Thank you for the bits of wisdom and all your great observations. I look forward to seeing you. It's going to be in less than 4 weeks. I'll see you, and we'll see what happens. And I think you might get to take home some hardware yourself this time with some hard work. I
Here's
wish you
hoping.
the best of luck.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you there and all the other athletes as well.
All right, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.